This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 25th day of March in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Vice President Barrett Jagdeo this afternoon said that the People's Progressive Party government will not remove the residency requirement from the election laws, noting that the High Court has already pronounced on the matter. As the opposition continues to hammer on the issue of a new and clean voters list and for some changes to be made to the Representation of the People's Act, the Vice President has declared that the government is not buying some of the points of the opposition.
So I don't trust them. We're not tying no bundle with them. The people of this country have to decide through the public consultations.
Mr. Jagdeo said when the consultations are held on the issue of electoral reform, the government will take into account what occurred during the last elections and what it can do to avoid that from reoccurring. He said while there have been concerns raised about the makeup of the Elections Commission, the same formula has been working.
So any amendment to that formula will have to be replaced with some solid safeguards that ensure that elections can't be rigged by capricious action or illegal action on the part of the technical people. So we still have an open mind, but that is not going to happen by us sitting down with APNU and deciding on this.
On the matter of dialogue and inclusivity and power sharing, the Vice President said his government will not be duped.
We're not born yesterday and we're not going to be duped. We genuinely want to work with the opposition, but it got to be on the basis of some principles and long-term commitment.
The Vice President met today with the visiting Deputy Assistant U.S. Secretary of State for Caribbean Affairs and Haiti. The visiting official has also held talks with the People's National Congress and some civil society groups. More news coming up in just a moment.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow. Live your fantasy at Fantasy Gaming Lounge. Win big daily. Millions in cash prizes every week. Now located at Giftland Mall, Fantasy Gaming Lounge, the best bet in town.
Social media is a great way to stay connected, and let's face it, who doesn't like likes? Whether you're showing off that great outfit or celebrating a work promotion, your first priority should be staying safe online. So shop only on secure websites, those with URLs that begin with HTTPS. Never overshare, including your location with strangers online. Configure your Facebook privacy settings to only share your photos and other personal information with family and close friends. You can be social, but it's important to be safe online.
Don't let the fear of contracting the coronavirus disease deter you from seeking the medical care you need. At Eureka Labs, we ensure the safety of our clients and staff with our rigid sanitization routine. This involves the use of ultraviolet lights to effectively rid the air and all surfaces of viruses and bacteria that may be present throughout the lab daily. The light works to rapidly inactivate microorganisms through a physical process that is invisible to the human eye. Bacteria, viruses, and protozoa exposed to the germicidal wavelengths of UV light are rendered incapable of reproducing and infecting. Germicidal ultraviolet technology is a decades-old technique that has been proven to effectively disinfect medical facilities. So the next time you need a checkup, don't hesitate to give us a call on 225-7574 to schedule your appointment. Our services include comprehensive blood tests, ultrasounds, DNA, HIV and STI testing, x-rays, cancer screening, and more.
It's here! Introducing the MyGPL Customer Portal, a convenient way to access all your account information in one location. To sign up, it's easy. Simply go to https://my.gplinc.com. After signing up, you will receive a confirmation email. Once logged in, view your postpaid account, monitor your consumption, view current charges and payment history, retrieve current and previous bills, and submit meter readings. My GPL Customer Portal. Access to all your account information from your PC, tablet, or mobile phone at your convenience. Sign up today. For more information, contact our customer call center on 226-2600.
Mobile One is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobile One adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get your
color.
Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Let's tell you now that a 22-year-old Ministry of Health employee who was attached to the Diamond Drug Bond as a storage attendant was remanded to jail this morning after he was slapped with 5 charges related to bribery and illegal possession of weapons. Farm resident Terrence Williams, who is a father of 4, appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court, where he faced the charges for the illegal possession of 2 firearms, ammunition, and attempting to bribe a police officer to the tune of $1.7 million. The youth was arrested earlier this week at his workplace as the police probed a larceny report at the workplace. During the police operation at the drug bond, a search was carried out on a vehicle belonging to the accused. It was during that search that investigators said they discovered 2 firearms and a quantity of ammunition, as well as a large sum of cash. Investigators said the accused allegedly offered a quantity of money to a police officer, requesting that a charge be dropped against him. He was told of the implications of his bribe offer and was immediately arrested. The police said while in custody, the accused made an additional bribe offer. In court, the 22-year-old was represented by attorney Dexter Todd, who failed in his pleadings for the youth to be granted bail. The presiding magistrate remanded Terrence Williams to jail until his next court date at the end of April. The investigations into the larceny at a drug bond are still ongoing. The Board of Inquiry into the Noble House fishing vessel tragedy has completed its probe of that tragedy at sea, which left 3 fishermen and their boat missing. The report comes 4 weeks after the fishing boat went down off the coast of Maikoni. The tragedy, which saw only 1 survivor, has triggered a move to strengthen safety in the maritime industry. The full report will be made public soon, according to Minister of Works Juan Egil.
Well, I can tell you what are the instructions that I give. That no vessel must leave to go out into Guyana's waters, rivers, or anywhere in our EEZ if the persons using those vessels are not properly licensed, and if those vessels are not properly licensed. That is a clear instruction I've given from the day that I was briefed that there was fraudulent licensing. And I said, even if it takes all the personnel that are available to us to inspect and check at every, whether it's from the Pomeroon or wherever, we can't have people getting out there and losing life. I know I was told by the practitioners and the technical people it's a great big job, but I say get it done.
Minister Egil said the report has found breaches ranging from the seaworthiness of the vessel to unlicensed operations. He said there are now clear needs for reforms and closer monitoring in the maritime sector, especially with the smaller vessels that operate out at sea.
If consistency is not maintained, then the staff at MARI would have to be changed. Because I want professionals who stick to standard operational procedures. across the board without face or favor and to do their work conscientiously.
There are over 2,000 vessels operating across the country, and the Maritime Administration is expected to begin a major campaign soon to ensure all of those vessels are certified and that their captains are licensed. The Noble House Seafood Company has also come under severe criticism in the report for its long delay in informing the authorities about the boat captain's distress call and the eventual tragedy. The captain of the vessel and two of his crew members are still listed as missing and are presumed dead. The authorities called off the search operations earlier this week after 4 weeks. The lone survivor of the tragedy told investigators that after the boat started to take in water, the captain made calls to his employers and informed them of the situation. He said not too long after the boat started to sink, pitching him and the other fishermen overboard. The survivor said he held onto a raft while in the water and was eventually rescued by a group of fishermen. The Noble House vessel and the other 3 fishermen are still to be recovered. Vice President Barra Jagdeo, who has come under fire in Trinidad and Tobago for saying that the country is falling apart economically, has defended his comments and told a press conference today that there is nothing new about what he said about the neighboring oil-producing nation. During a recent visit to the county of Essequibo, the vice president said the government of Guyana will invest in infrastructure and other sectors in order to diversify the economy and to ensure Guyana does not become like Trinidad, which he said has been heavily dependent on oil. According to the vice president, Trinidad's dependence on oil has left the country falling apart. The statement by Mr. Jagdeo was picked up in the Trinidadian media, with some readers there saying his comments were disrespectful. Today, the vice president stood by his comments.
Look at the newspapers in Trinidad and Tobago. Every day you will see them saying, yes, the currency problems, they have currency shortages, and is it a fact that they've had a long period of low growth? Yes, COVID has exacerbated it, but even before COVID, it is a fact. So what I'm saying is not anything new.
Vice President Jagdeo said he will not lose sleep over the criticisms he has been receiving. He said his remarks were intended to make the point of mistakes Guyana should avoid as an oil-producing nation. According to Jagdeo, over the years, some Trinidadian officials have also had very disparaging things to say about Guyana.
They talk about the fact that we're undemocratic, and if they're not careful, they'll go the Guyana route. And I didn't raise an issue because it's true. Many of the things they spoke about, that our democracy was challenged. So I don't know if they have a problem with truth. The economy in Trinidad is undiversified. It relies heavily on oil and gas.
The vice president said his remarks were not personal and were not directed to the Prime Minister of Trinidad. But his remarks, he said, are factual representations of what occurs in Trinidad and Tobago today. A female supernumerary constable of the Guyana Police Force has filed an official police complaint against attorney Nirvan Singh. In the complaint, woman supernumerary constable Shonat Bullas alleges that while she was on duty at the residence of the attorney's father, retired acting Chancellor Carl Singh, she was attacked by the attorney, who allegedly spat in her face and allegedly made several disparaging racist remarks towards her while chasing her out of the compound. She said even after she left the compound, she was followed by the attorney, who continued to make disparaging remarks towards her, while allegedly describing her as a black monkey. Woman Constable Bullas said she immediately called her supervisor and related the incident, filing a report. 2 days ago, she officially filed a statement with police investigators detailing the incident. The Guyana Police Force has not responded to queries about that complaint. Her attorney, U.C. Anderson, has also written to attorney Nirvan Singh detailing the incident and the possible criminal and civil breaches of the law by him owing to the alleged incident. In the letter, attorney Anderson told Singh that complaints will be filed against him with the Guyana Bar Association, even as redress will be sought through the courts. It appears to not be the first time that the attorney has been accused of verbally assaulting police constables who are posted at his father's residence. In an audio recording, a voice believed to be that of Carvan Singh could be heard telling another constable to get out of his yard while she was on the phone filing a complaint against him with her supervisor. In a statement today, the People's National Congress Reform said it is appalled by the incident and will be closely monitoring the situation to ensure Shonette Bullers receives proper assistance and full justice. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
In addition to 2% royalty, did you know that Guyana earns 50% of the profits from oil production? More than any one of the Stabroek Block co-venturers, ExxonMobil, Hess and Sinnock. And by 2026, the government is expected to export 50 million barrels of oil per year, which can earn as much as $4 billion.
Live your fantasy at Fantasy Gaming Lounge. Win big daily. Millions in cash prizes every week. Now located at Giftland Mall, Fantasy Gaming Lounge, the best bet in town.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Brazil's electoral court said yesterday it had proposed to messenger app Telegram an agreement to join forces on a program to combat misinformation ahead of the country's presidential election, which is scheduled to take place in October. The program to combat misinformation was created as part of the electoral court's efforts to combat misinformation and fake news, especially those related to Brazil's electronic voting system and other aspects of its electoral process. Telegram has faced criticism for failing to do enough to tamp down rumors and monitor the activities of its users, while it has been lauded by far-right Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and his supporters. Nicaraguan opposition leader Cristiana Chamorro has been given an 8-year jail sentence after being found guilty of money laundering. Ms. Chamorro says the charges were politically motivated and designed to stop her from running in November's election, which saw President Daniel Ortega win a 5th term in office. She was one of 7 presidential hopefuls detained ahead of the elections. The 68-year-old is expected to be kept under house arrest. Chamorro was seen by many in the opposition as their best hope of defeating Ortega in the election. She comes from one of Nicaragua's most influential families. Her father was the editor of the newspaper La Prensa, which opposed the autocratic Somoza family that ruled Nicaragua for decades. He was assassinated in 1978. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Joe Biden has hailed American military deployments to Europe as part of a struggle for democracy against autocracy during a visit to U.S. troops in Poland. His remarks come as the U.S. and others have reinforced NATO's eastern flank amid the war in Ukraine. The stop at the air base near the Ukrainian border was part of Mr. Biden's trip to Europe to rally allies. However, back home, Mr. Biden faces skepticism over his Ukraine response. In his remarks to the troops earlier today, the U.S. president sought to portray their deployments as part of a wider fight between democracies and oligarchs. Since February, the U.S. has sent about 12,000 troops to Europe, many of them to Poland to help deter Russia from threatening NATO allies and to assist with humanitarian efforts. Thousands more have been redeployed east from existing U.S. bases in Europe. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.